Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. So we're talking about crypto, and in fact, crypto pumpers like Andrei, Jikh, and Cathie Wood. These are real things, and I want to share some thoughts of this with you. I know there's a lot of crypto fans out there and a lot of crypto haters. I'll just tell you right out, I was never into this stuff. I always like, what the heck is this? And people can call me old or whatever, but I just don't think it's safe. That's just me. And I always felt uncomfortable promoting any kind of crypto or NFT stuff. I just thought, what the heck is this stuff? Also, to you new here, my name is Chris, professor for about 10 years, and this is all to help you grow your account and grow your mind. So I want to share this with you. He was pumping Omni, and he's like, hey, I put 150K in Omni. And it's interesting because when you start going into these altcoin stuff, right, you got a Bitcoin and Ethereum is one thing, and which I think are risky in itself. But then when you start going to altcoins and stuff like that, and even NFTs, which is this is back last year talking about Spider-Man NFTs. He's done NFTs, Pokemon, etc. It's risky. And the other thing too, which I think is important as well, this really signifies a bubble. And to also be perfectly frank, he has a ton of subscribers, gets a ton of views. People like to watch this stuff because I think we all have these fantasies of getting in early on something that's, quote, great technology. But, this is just bubble. Warren Buffett hates this stuff. I myself have just never really what the heck are the kids into? Actually, it's funny. My wife, she's Korean. She always makes a joke. And it's actually not a joke. It's just a joke they have in Korea, I guess you should say. But it's not a joke, is that if you've ever been to Seoul, there are multiple bridges in Seoul. And the saying or slash joke goes is that each bridge has a different crypto where people kill themselves from buying said crypto. So I don't know if we have a joke like that in New York City, like, oh, that's the Dogecoin building where people jump off the building. So, you get the joke. But it's this stuff is just so risky, and it's crazy because it was really fueled by these kind of influencer people. Cathie Wood being one of them as well, telling everyone, hey, Bitcoin's going to go to $1 million by 2030. You can't make this stuff up. This is all recently, right? Back in April. Maybe she's right. Maybe I'm the dumb one and I should be buying my Bitcoins now. But it just seems so ludicrous. And, you take a look at crypto, what's it doing now? It's at 21,000. I'm talking about Bitcoin. It was down from 69. And some people are saying, oh, Chris, this is normal. This is just a crypto winter. This is a normal thing. I'm not so certain. I'll be curious you guys' feelings on this, but it does feel like, quote, this time is different when you always say that in the terms of the downside, and mostly because the bubble is popped. We have not seen crypto go through a sort of recessionary period with high interest rates. This is supposed to be acting as a sort of replacement for gold in a way. It doesn't seem to appear that. The other thing too, which is very real, is these things get value if you can find someone else that will buy it for you at a higher price, right? It's the greater fool theory. As long as you find a bigger fool than you're going to make money. And, during the past couple of years, it certainly worked. And you could make the case for Bitcoin the past, I guess, 5 years. Yeah, keep finding someone to buy it because someone else wants to buy it for even more. But I feel like the party's coming to an end. And the reason why, or already ended, I guess you should say, and now we're in the repercussions. And it's interesting because this is the Celcius network thing, which basically froze their assets. We have another one, I think, was it Voyager or Three Arrows, and we'll see what happens with BlockFi. We have multiple exchanges facing real serious problems. And the Celcius one, it looks like they're looking to declare bankruptcy. This is just a couple days ago. They've already started working with lawyers and essentially consulting firms to figure out how we're going to do this. It matters because when you declare bankruptcy, there's going to be a big fight for people to get their money back. A big fight, right? Imagine you have assets trapped in this thing and there'll be a long line and class action. It's going to be messy. So they're trying to prepare for that. And it's really interesting because there was something else that came out as well, that Goldman, now this one, what is this? This is like Coin, I can't remember the name of this publication. It's like CoinDesk, I think is what it's called. They were reporting that Goldman Sachs was looking to maybe buy this thing for $2 billion, but I don't think that's completely accurate. This is the title. It says, Wall Street firm is seeking $2 billion in commitments from investors to buy distressed assets at steep discounts if crypto lender goes bankrupt. So when it says Goldman Sachs leading investor group, the more I kind of really thought about it and read into it more, it's more like Goldman might be acting as a broker to get someone to buy it, and then Goldman collects the fee on said transaction. So I don't know if necessarily Goldman's going to actually be doing the buying opposed to just facilitating the transaction, but who's going to step in and put in $2 billion for a bunch of assets that might be essentially worthless. I don't know, and I think this is a key moment to see if any buyers come in at all. If this company Celcius does declare bankruptcy, and like no one's like, you know what, I'm not touching that stuff, it's worthless. That'll be really telling what's happened to crypto. And you know, I was thinking about this. So I mentioned Andrei Jikh or Cathie Wood, how these kind of people were representing the pinnacle of the bubble, right? We were so extravagant in our essentially tulip trading that we're talking about now digital assets that have no inherent value. And you know, people can get wrong on things with companies. I'm just keeping it real. Like you know, not every single stock that I like is correct, or not every single real estate thing is correct. Like for example, let's say I buy a house and I think I'm going to rent it out as a summer rental, and no one is renting it. I still own the house, right? The physical house is mine. I still have this thing. If I buy stock in a company, maybe it goes bankrupt. It's totally true. But it was a real company. There were people, there was an office building, they had some sort of service. You know, it wasn't like there was nothing there. But with crypto, it's really hard to make that case with many of these things. And I get it. There are people out there, fans of crypto. Oh, Chris, you don't understand technology. You're so dumb. And maybe I'm so dumb. And I don't know. It's just the thing is, a lot of people are going to get hurt pretty badly from this Celcius thing, and I think other exchanges as well. You know, if for example, actually not if, I have a little bit of money in Coinbase, very, very little. Basically, Coinbase was giving people away free money, and for those of you who have accounts at Coinbase, you would know this. BlockFi would do the same things as well, as, you know, hey, you know, you sign up, you deposit so much money, they give you money. And a lot of brokerages and things do that thing, which is totally fine. You know, the thing is too, which is crazy on Coinbase, is like you would take these quizzes and they give you even more free money. It was like $10 to take a quiz. I don't know if you guys experienced this as well, but it's kind of ridiculous how simple it was. And moreover, the Celcius thing sort of spurred, I guess what's the right word to say? We should have been more suspectful. Is that a good word? Suspicious, I guess another word, is at that one point they were offering people like 18% returns per year, which is ludicrous rates. I remember BlockFi, I want to say the highest that BlockFi reached was like 8% or something like that. And it was just like better than bonds, better than savings accounts. But as you know, this whole thing, it turned out to be basically insolvent, right? If it's too good to be true, then it, you know, usually is. That's just how the world works. And not only that, was this Celcius thing, they were like offering people loans if you put up your crypto as collateral. It was all built on a house of cards. And so I think this bankruptcy thing, if the rumors are true in these articles, I have no reason to believe that they wouldn't be true. But, you know, we're going to certainly see. This is just early reporting. Usually something when it leaks out like, hey, they're exploring, they're already hiring attorneys, stuff like that. Usually that sounds pretty real. It's legit. And this was put out by the Wall Street Journal, which I don't think they're just making random stuff up. I think the next couple of weeks will be really telling, because I feel like this will move very, very quickly. This reminds me of the 08-09 crisis. Someone wrote this in the comments as well, and it's something that I put the pieces together and do think is a real thing. The difference would say the banks in 08-09 that failed, they were bailed out by the government, but for crypto, there's going to be no bailouts here. I just don't see it happening. And that's why I mentioned you guys before, like, you know, when you put your money in something like, say, a bank, you have FDIC come in to insure you, and I think it's like $250K per account. Someone wrote in the comments to, check the numbers on that, but you're insured. And I think brokerage is like $500K or something like that. Like you have some protections. Whereas people on these crypto exchanges, they're gonna lose like everything. And it does happen with companies as well, right? If you invest in a company, you'll go bankrupt, you'll lose everything. And the first sort of like really big bankruptcy, and I guess you could say it was the Terra Luna stuff, and maybe now it's Celcius, and then after that maybe it'll be BlockFi, etc. This will sort of signify the bottom of the market, right? Where is that going to be? And that's sort of what I'm looking for, is failed companies. A lot of people who are new to the market think the market's just going to bounce back up in 2020. It's just not going to be like that. And so that's why I still remain bearish and as a total market, and not just crypto, but just everything, because I really want to see things bottom out, and it'll get ugly. And this will be something ugly. You're going to hear crazy stories. Let's think of it this way. You remember when the Evergrande thing was basically failing in China? And if you guys are familiar with the situation at Evergrande, the basic gist was that people gave Evergrande like a deposit, and it was like a high number. We'll just say 100 grand, something like that, right? And then Evergrande would promise to build you a house, and you thought you're investing money in a reputable company. You give them your 100 grand, and then they never finish your house. And so you don't have your 100 grand, and you don't have your house. You'd be pretty upset too, right? I mean, seriously. And so then, many people in China, they would go and just sit in the Evergrande lobby and just like, I want my money back. I want my money back. and Evergrande's like, you know, I had to call the police essentially. And it's a huge problem, because if there's no money, you can't really pay anyone back. And is it the government going to, you know, bail out Evergrande? That's essentially what the issue was. Regards to, say, something like, what is it, the Celcius thing, or be it Binance, be it, you know, whatever, you know, crypto thing is going to be next. If some of these companies fail, people are just going to lose. And I don't see the government coming in and bailing people out. And so, you know, put this moreover, you have these, you know, really popular influencer, be it your Cathie Wood, be it your Andrei, Jikh, whoever is on this pumping this stuff, that's extremely risky. And, you know, on top of that, you have this guy living in the Bahamas, we talked about him before, Sam Bankman-Fried, over at FTX, and he's buying up influence on YouTube. That's why I've been kind of noticing it more and more. And someone mentioned recently, and I checked it out, it's true. There's even like a YouTuber which we reviewed, I don't know, like a month ago. His name is Joseph Carlson. He mostly just does stocks. He's not a crypto person at all. And now he's doing paid advertising for FTX. So it's very, you know, it's everywhere, ubiquitous. That's what I'm thinking of. It's extremely ubiquitous, this kind of stuff, how you can buy up influence at something that's extremely unsafe. So I just wanted to point this out to you, what's going on with Celcius, and to use caution. Myself, I get it, right? People want to have, you know, everyone wants to become rich. I mean, I really get that. And you want to be early, and you're like, oh, you know, I want to buy this Dogecoin now, and eventually it's going to become $1. But I think this is the pinnacle of what like bubble culture is, and people are now even pushing it harder with the whole FTX thing. That's why my wife keeps saying the same thing, and now the more I think about it and just reading about it, is like, she's like, this is just one big last push on crypto before everyone on the inside in the know bails ship, right? Pump it up one last time and then bail ship. That's what it looks like to me, but I'd love to hear your opinion on this as well. You know, and the question is this just a crypto winter where Bitcoin goes from 70,000 down to whatever, 13,000, I think is where it's going to go. It's kind of what people are saying. And it'll come back and, you know, whatever. Or is this a serious, you know, failure of the network, and everyone tied to this crypto NFT craze is going to essentially feel shame about this? I'd be curious your guys' opinion on that. I'm happy I didn't jump on the Bitcoin train, toner one night. Oh my God, it's going to $1 million like Cathie Wood. I think a lot of people are going to get hurt pretty badly with crypto, and I think there's going to be a lot of angry people involved with this. So I'm happy I didn't touch it, and I'm happy I wasn't part of this thing. And one of the things that I always emphasize with you guys is, as well, with anything you do in life, you know, play for the long game, and play with a clear conscience, and it'll keep you young, healthy, happy, and safe. So anyway, that's my thoughts on this stuff. Be careful out there, and I'll catch you in the next video.